If health content has started to feel heavy instead of helpful, this video is for you because what you're seeing online isn't random, it's designed. My husband Devin told me my intro should be, stop watching this video right now and go watch someone else. Which is terrible advice, but also kind of proves my point of today's video. This video is a little different than what I usually make, but it's something that has been on my heart lately. Between a recent church service, a sponsorship I turned down this week, and a few conversations around what real food is, it all kind of clicked for me at once. When you hear something enough times and then the internet keeps feeding you that same idea, it starts to feel like fact, even when it isn't. Hey, I'm Amy. I'm a registered dietitian focused on sharing nourishing recipes, busting nutrition myths, and helping you figure out what's actually true out there. And before I became an RD, I worked in advertising, literally all about how to influence people. So I understand how this messaging works, how money works, and how algorithms decide what gets amplified. The ad agency I worked for's whole philosophy was the power of why, question everything. We are leaning into that concept today. Now, I left the advertising world, but I carry that mindset straight into nutrition. And that's the lens that I want you to leave this video with. This video isn't about telling you what to eat. It's about helping you feel grounded and confident when you hear nutrition advice online, especially when it sounds extreme, absolute, or a little too certain. And everything right now feels so polarizing, so I just wanted to share some thoughts from my heart to you. First, can we just acknowledge something really quick? The health space on the internet has gotten weird. Like really weird. One day, grapes are basically as bad for you as candy. Next, vegetables have anti-nutrients that are secretly destroying you. Seed oils are somehow the root of all evil. Someone warns you that touching receipts will poison you. It's nuts. And here's the thing, the most outrageous ideas get the most views, not because they're evidence-based, but because they're extreme and shareable. It's the shock factor. Now, calm, balanced advice doesn't tend to trend. It doesn't get pushed. It doesn't go viral. Trust me on that one. And once you see that, it really becomes clear why the repetition starts to feel like truth. We are absolutely drowning in information. From the moment you wake up, someone is telling you something about your health, supplements, diets, superfoods, warnings, horror stories about things you ate for breakfast. It drives me absolutely nuts, this fear around food. And most people aren't researching every single claim. Who has time to do that? And that's not some failure, that is just life. But that's exactly how ideas like carbs are bad, seed oils are toxic, fruit sugar is poison, that's how they start to feel true, even when the science doesn't actually support that level of certainty. So here's how it happens. You watch one health video. You might like it, you might comment, you might save it. Then the algorithm notices. Now you see 10 more videos saying the same thing. And the more extreme the claim, the more the algorithm rewards it. You're in this sort of echo chamber. And nuance rarely gets amplified. Balance doesn't trend. Again, trust me on that one. And that's where following the incentives comes in. So part of what inspired this video is that last week, a protein company and electrolyte company reached out to me about a collaboration and sponsorship. And my first thought wasn't excitement. It was, man, where are the apple growers? Where are the bean companies? Where are the frozen vegetable brands who need a spokesperson? Why is it always the supplement companies with big marketing budgets that are showing up in my inbox? It's definitely not because apples are healthy. It's because they don't have some huge marketing budget funding this content strategy. The companies with money are the ones creating content designed to go viral, extreme claims, shocking headlines, guaranteed engagement. Eat an apple does not go viral. This one oil is silently destroying your gut. That gets 1 million views. So follow the money. It tells you a lot about why health advice online feels so extreme, and to me it feels really polarizing. Which brings us to the real food conversation. Another part that inspired this week's video is a post from a group that I was in, and it said, real nutrition professionals don't tell people to eat real food. That's the language of health gurus, not evidence-based practitioners. And I just had such a real problem with that. Now, I do understand the point they were making. Essentially, not all processed foods are bad, and I could not agree more. But here's the truth. Real food doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be so black and white, so lined down the middle of things. It doesn't mean cooking everything from scratch or avoiding every packaged thing on the shelf. Real food can be frozen broccoli. In fact, I encourage it. Canned beans. I love them. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I love to talk about fiber, beans in particular. A frozen veggie mix on a Tuesday night when you're exhausted means you are getting some veggies in. Even these minimally processed staples. Real food is practical, accessible, and sustainable. It does not have to mean it's some sort of elitist, all-organic nonsense. And if you've watched any of my videos before, you know balance is not just a buzzword here, it's the whole point. Balance is what makes a healthy life actually work, not just for a few weeks, not just for a season, long term. Because here's what the research tells us over and over. Restriction leads to the opposite of what we want. Guilt and shame around food don't create health, they create a negative feedback cycle. And I cannot stand negative guilt, fear around food. So real food, real balance, real life, that's my whole channel in a nutshell. So how do you know which voices to actually trust? First, don't rely on just one person. Not just me, not your favorite influencer, not any single expert. If all your information is coming from one place, you are getting one single perspective. And honestly, this isn't the best advice if your goal, like mine, is to grow a big following, but it is the best advice for your health, and my job is to help you better your health. So look for multiple credible sources, different angles, different experts. See where there's overlap and where they are saying the same thing and sharing the best evidence-based information. Because when something is actually well supported, you'll start to notice patterns across sources, not just one loud and frankly obnoxious voice. And look for nuance. People who genuinely read and share research don't speak in absolutes. You'll hear things like, may be associated with, in certain populations, the evidence suggests. They acknowledge context, they acknowledge limitations. They might say we need more research on this. But cure-alls, definitives, always, and nevers, those are some red flags major. And if someone is pushing a supplement that will magically fix everything wrong with you, your spidey sense should definitely be tingling.
Spidey sense tells me you're lying.
And here's the reality, that kind of extreme, overly certain content is exactly what the algorithm rewards. Certainty sells, outlandish gets views, complexity doesn't. And one more thing, and this matters. Good information evolves. Some of what I believed 10 years ago has changed because the research has changed. And that's not a flaw, that's how science works. And if you're getting your information from multiple credible sources, you'll be able to evolve with it too, instead of stuck in one person's outdated advice. I will always tell you when research has been updated and I've updated my perspective. I will always share the evidence-based truth, and that's a promise. And I want to acknowledge something. We are busier, more overwhelmed, and more stressed than ever. So when an influencer looks straight into the camera and tells you with total confidence that this one thing, this one supplement, this one change will fix everything, it is genuinely tempting to believe them. I totally get that. And confusion around nutrition is not a personal failure. It's the outcome of a system that rewards fear and extremes over balance and nuance. And you deserve better than fear-based advice. You deserve information that actually helps you live your life, not one that makes food feel like a minefield, like you don't know what to eat because everything's toxic. So here's what I want you to walk away with. Know the system, spot the nuance, question the incentives for sure, and apply the power of why to everything you hear online. That's how you feel confident in the information you're getting online. Unlearning diet culture, dropping guilt and shame, embracing real balance. The research is clear that this improves mental health, physical health, and makes nutrition feel manageable instead of scary. And that is exactly what we're looking for here and exactly what I want for you. So thanks so much for being here, for thinking critically alongside of me. This is exactly the conversations I want to have with you. You can always count on me for research-backed information. And when that research changes, I will share the updates with you and tell you why. So tell me, is there a health claim that you've heard so many times it's started to feel like a fact? Or maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed by everything lately. Drop it to me in the comments. I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know how you're feeling right now. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, boy, do I get it. And I want to share, I have so much content coming up for you. How to actually hit your fiber goals, my take on popular nutrition apps, a vlog style look at calorie counting versus eating for health with myself and my husband, Devin. That's a fun one for sure. And I am also going to unpack cortisol in nutrition because cortisol is a theme that is consistently coming up in my nutrition counseling sessions, and I want to share that info with you all. So here's your reminder to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. Hit like and share this video with someone who needs help with a little perspective when everything feels overwhelming and polarizing. And keep asking why. I've got your back. And now for something a little lighter, I broke down my absolute worst nutrition comments ever. It is fun and entertaining for sure, with some unhinged comments. That video is on your screen right now, and I will see you over there. Until then, eat well, be well, think critically, thrive.